I think in the case of Gunpowder, it was a little bit of inspiration from Sergio Leone and Kurosawa and Hitchcock, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, that idea that it was inspired by the assassin, gun for hire genre meets Ronin, samurai genre, met the gangster genre from the Hitchcock movies, and voila, there it is. So I think that was the initial inspiration for Gunpowder. The most amazing talent with the most amazing crew to do this crazy batshit movie. Very violent, very funny. That doesn't really, you know, people try to ask me, okay, so how would you define it? What's the genre? How would you explain Gunpowder Milkshake? And I tell them, I think it's in the title. I think the title is the best way to describe the movie. It's just a milkshake and a violent genre blender. And the experience was just great. In every aspect, whether it was the outfits, the cars, the props, the guns, the overall look of every character, it was different inspiration and different genres and different eras. Karen, our lead heroine, Sam in the movie, she's just awesome. She's rock and roll. I mean, she's nice to work with. She's so committed and passionate and hard worker. She did so much training, as I'm sure people who followed her saw. And she brings this tranquility to the set. It's fun to be around her. Still, she's very professional, but she's a goofball. And I think she was the glue because she spent the most time with us while everyone else had to come and go. So she just set the tone for everyone who came after her. Chloe was just the best gift we can have. Apparently there's rules in Berlin, which I support, that a kid can't work more than 3 hours. We did not know that. So that was a huge, huge gift for us that Chloe is such a talented actress. Sometimes we needed to remind ourselves, oh, wait a minute, she's just, I think, 10 or 11 years old. She's not a grown-up. There were times on set when, you know, the grown-ups are talking like grown-ups, and she was like, I don't mind. So she was, it's easy to forget she's a kid sometimes because she's so talented and mature, but at the same time she's a kid and she just wanted to have fun, and I think it shows. I think she brought a lot of life and comedy and just being herself. We knew that by then we've introduced you to all the characters and a little bit of their arbitudes and how they operate in the little world, but now you get to see them in action. Yeah, now you get to see Lena. Now you get to see Karen in a different way. Now you get to see Angela Bassett, Michelle Yeoh, and Carla Gugino. And we built different arenas for them. We wanted every character to come alive in her own little space. We wanted it to match their personality, and we wanted to match the fighting style, and they're all very different. When we approached the action scenes, we wanted the locations to be a part of the actual storytelling of that set piece. We knew we wanted different set pieces with different colors and lights and different styles of fighting that would also reflect the emotional journey or where we are in the story. So if we start with the first action scene, which happens in a bowling alley, you have maybe a Western build-up to it, but then it goes into this neon electro vibe where they start as silhouettes. And we knew it's going to be more inspired by Hong Kongian movies and Jackie Chan in specific. So we build on top of that. It's the first time also we see Sam really kick ass, Karen. So we knew, okay, this is that set piece. This is what we need. This is what we were aiming for. I think from the get-go I wanted to create something that is out of place and out of time. It feels familiar, but you can't really point your finger, like this is happening here, and when. And I think Berlin was a perfect match for it. On one hand, you have all this historical building, these huge monuments from centuries ago, and on the other, you have all the buildings that came to be during the Cold War. So you have those two sources of those two locations to build on top, and then we brought in and introduced the diner and the bowling alley, which are very American and very iconic. And all of them, when you mix them together, you have this blender of locations and blender of vibes. And from that point on, we start building on top of it.
Sam, your talents are needed. You killed the wrong people. Give the kill order.
We need weapons.
You'll need a Jane Austen, a Virginia Woolf,
and an Agatha Christie. For reading.
We're gonna bring the sky down on their heads. Gunpowder Milkshake.